Can Rants number 24. Before we get into can ranting, there's some disclaimers and some apologies I need to address first. First, we'll get into apologies. I apologize for the loud music from my roommate. It's his weekend. I let him party around and stuff. It's been a bad day for us at the house with the landlord and stuff, so you know what, we're gonna party. But I'm not going to. I'm going to do a fucking can rant on something I didn't want to do a can rant about. Next, I want to apologize for the fan noise, which is probably really going to be blowing into the shotgun mic. If I turn this light off, I lose the catch light, and I will be in the dark and look like a creature. Next, I want to apologize that this isn't a funnier can rant. My intention was to do a can rant in the next month or so about how I discovered people at my new college throw paper towels into the urinal like savages, and also that people ride their skateboards and bikes through campus and nearly run people over. There's going to be a whole thing on etiquette. But that isn't going to happen. Instead, I get to talk about someone who is a fan of these videos, which I never thought I would do in my entire life. Never thought I'd talk about someone I considered a fan. I enjoyed his content. But over the last few months, it's become kind of disturbing to me. And of course, we all know who it is. It's Darksnovia. Darksnovia has been a faithful viewer of this channel for years, and he's been very supportive of this channel, which is why I'm very hesitant to make this rant, and I have a somber tone, and I'm not going overly extreme screaming here. In fact, I didn't want to do this as a can rant, but the noise is so bad, I decided, and the lighting in here is so decent that I didn't put my lighting kit in here. I figured might as well, because this isn't going to end well. I know it's not. And this has to do with the Matt Wilkins controversy. Mainly a certain podcast called The Fall of Matt Wilkins, a 3.5 hour podcast, well technically 3 hours and 21 minutes of some of the most embarrassing content I have ever listened to. In fact, it's taken me 2 days to get through this whole podcast. And a disclaimer, I will not be talking for the most part about anyone else on that podcast, because I don't know them, except for someone said literally over and over again, dude, get a fucking thesaurus, please, get a fucking vocabulary. And there was a lot of butthurt, but I think her name was Mayhem Mary said it best in the comments, so I'm not going to get into that so much. And I will not be talking about B-level Star Wars, because B-level Star Wars and I are actually going to sit down and have a discussion. We're in the works of that. So there will be no talk of B-level Star Wars, because I don't know the guy, and I want to hear his opinion on things. And I'd love to hear Darksnovia's opinion on things too, but I'm sure he's going to be fucking furious with me because I am not taking his side on this issue, because quite frankly, I don't think Matt Wilkins has done anything wrong. Because in this podcast episode that's on YouTube, that's near like 3.5 hours long, I saw no point in the podcast where Matt proved to be in the wrong in any sort of way, other than the fact that he ignores you, which it's debatable whether or not he's in the wrong for that. Because, quite frankly, Darksnovia, and for that matter, the majority of you in this podcast are coming off as what he said you were, cyberbullies. Now, we all know I hate the term cyberbully. I find it to be fucking really, really overused, and no one seems to understand what that means. So, what should I refer to you as? Oh, a fucking douchebag. Because that's what you're acting like. You're acting like a spoiled, rotten, little douchebag who is getting ignored and being a fucking bitch about it. My fucking God, your conduct in this whole Matt Wilkins debacle and not listening to other people's opinions is quite frankly baffling. What the actual fuck, dude? Seriously? You call yourself an intellectual, but can only see your point. Matt Wilkins has wronged you in some way. He does not do the things you want him to do. He talks to people from the Fandom Menace, which apparently means that the EU movement's going to have a merger with the Fandom Menace. Huh. When the fuck was that ever said? Because quite frankly, I've spent 2 fucking nights trying to figure this shit out. Also, when did the Fandom Menace use the term fake news when talking about Marvel Star Wars issue 108? Quite frankly, I didn't look up the clip for this because you played it 3 fucking times in its entirety on your podcast. And for those of you who are going to say, oh, it's implied, that's... okay, you can see that. I can also see Matt's point that they think the videos that's... or whatever was said was fake as opposed to the issue itself. You know what? Tomato, tomato. But the point is, at the beginning of this podcast, when this is first brought up, they said, quote, that Fandom Menace called it fake news. And I get Darksnovia didn't say this. This was the literally guy, whose name is escaping me. I do apologize. But Darksnovia fully agreed with this. And here's the fucking thing. Dude, I get that you've been harassed on YouTube. You know what? So have I. So has Matt. We all handle things differently. But when Matt decides, maybe I don't want to see this fucking shit because you know what? YouTube isn't my fucking life. You should fucking respect that. I mean, for fuck's sake. You people have fucking harassed him to no end. Leave the poor guy alone. He does this for fun. This isn't his fucking life. Also, what does Matt fucking owe you? And that's what drove me insane, among other things, in this podcast, is this fucking entitlement that you're portraying. The fucker does YouTube videos. He doesn't get paid for them. He's not some sort of money shill. He's talking to Phantom Menace, probably, well, he's not even talking to them. He's talking to RK Outpost, who is not Jeremy, I don't think. And I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about other Jeremy, the embarrassing one, which I will kind of agree with you there because I have no real experience with him. But what I've seen, which would be the Red Letter Media clip that got dropped in some sort of, I think it was in Nerd Crew video, their last Nerd Crew video, which was really fucking funny. He's an embarrassment, and he seems like a dick. But I mean, like, fuck, I'm not really gonna judge him because, you know, I don't fucking know the guy. I've never had an experience with the guy. In fact, to be honest, I've not had a single negative interaction with the Phantom Menace. The Phantom Menace as a whole, I don't agree with their stuff. That's clear by my content. But I know that some of them watch my YouTube videos and comment on my YouTube videos. You know? It's like, fuck. You know? And I respect them. They're looking at another opinion. And they don't fucking troll me. I've been fortunate enough to not have a single Phantom Menace negative experience. That being said, I agree. I don't think we should merge. But you know what? I think everyone agrees with me that they shouldn't merge. I think Matt agrees with us that there shouldn't be a merger. In fact, there isn't a merger. I have no idea where this idea came from, quite frankly. It's strange. Where did you get this idea from? Because I don't see it anywhere. Is it because Matt has RK Outpost on his live streams? The guy seems like a nice dude, and they have peaceful conversations. And don't get me fucking started on the whole Matt doesn't support little channels. Let's look at Matt's subscriber count. Say it's about 4,500 subscribers, maybe 5,000 subscribers. Do you think that he has time to look at every channel that he has subbed to him so he can see their content and whether they make content or not? And I'm going to go a little inside baseball with Matt's and my relationship. We all know Matt Wilkins and I are good friends. We went on vacation together along with Dylan from the Legends podcast, my co-host. We went to Gen Con about 3 years ago. It was great. I've stayed at his house. I've met his wife. I talked to him on my cell phone. Like, we text. In fact, I had a nice phone call with him the other day. You know, he's a great guy. And I get that you said that I'm one of the exceptions, but let me tell you why I'm one of the exceptions. Back when the EU movement started, before it even was a movement, I made a can rant, just like this one, called Can Rants #1. And it was about the Disney buyout and all these spin-off movies and how I didn't fucking like it. We all know this video. Probably every single one of my subscribers have seen it at least once. It's one of my most famous videos on the Stupid Chainsaw Productions channel. Fuck, it's probably in the top 10 most viewed, most well-received videos I've ever made in my entire YouTube career. That spans from 2010, when I made the first JMA 91794 video, to now. It is one, I'm quite frankly am proud of the video. I think I'm very happy that it amused a lot of people and opened people's eyes to how I felt at the time. And at the time, a lot of people reached out to me. One of them being Django Fett, who is one of my good friends, who I'm very happy to say got married recently. Congratulations, my dude. And the other being Matt Wilkins sought me out. And at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt's subscriber count was under 1,000. Matt was a nobody YouTube channel. A nobody YouTube channel. He had made a couple viral videos at the college he went to. I don't even think he was in college anymore. He just came by just to troll people. That was what he was known for. He posted theater stuff and vacation vlogs. And he posted about Zombies the board game, which is a fun board game. his defending the EU was fairly new. I had, of course, seen it because I did research before I did Can Rants #1. I was familiar with him, but he sought me out. We talked through a friend of ours named Captain Gonzo. We'll call him that, from the Minox Nest podcast, back when that was still a thing. We met through Django, Captain Gonzo and me. We talked, and he said, Matt Wilkins wants to talk to you. And he gave Matt Wilkins my Skype information, and we had a 4 or 5 hour call. And that's how we became friends. And I told him about how I got into the EU, which, for those of you who don't know, the EU taught me how to read, mainly comic books. I could not read until I was about 10 or 11. Not well. I read at probably a first grade level, and then I got into comic book reading and got into the panels, and that helped me learn to read, and I consider myself a very proficient reader, and I'm very thankful for it, and I'm very thankful for Star Wars for helping me with that. But I digress. So, needless to say, Matt was friends with me before he was as big as he is now. And also, something to factor in, he has kids now. He didn't have kids before. And being a father is a very time-consuming job that you don't get paid for. You know what else is a time-consuming job he doesn't get paid for? YouTube. Huh. But hey, apparently Matt's a money shill and does it for the money. I don't know how. Is it the perks on the Twin Sons billboard? Because Darksnovia, you know better than that. You know, as well as I know, that Matt does not get a cut of that. Although you haven't really mentioned this in your videos so much. This was more of a B-level Star Wars thing, which B-level and I will discuss when we discuss things. But my point is this, Darksnovia. If you hated being harassed on YouTube, which it's clear you do, I'd be shocked if you said, oh, I fucking love that shit. Because no one likes getting fucking harassed, or as you say, fucking stalked, which that sucks. I'm not going to argue with you and say, oh, you don't know what stalking is, because that shit fucking sucks. And I seriously doubt you would lie about that. Because I don't think your integrity is in question here. I just think you don't see your point. Your point says, what's a good word for this? As inaccurate. I think you're just blinded and upset, and you just want to see what you want to see. Because a group of people called the Fandom Menace, which you clearly don't like, I'm not going to dispute that with you. You can not like people because, you know, you're a human being and you have the right to dislike who you dislike. I'm not going to dispute that with you. Because this group has, in a small way, associated with someone you deemed, I don't mean to put words in your mouth, be a hero of yours, an inspiration. He made you want to do more reviews, and who's communicated with you numerous times, and you seem to have some sort of acquaintanceship. You seem to feel betrayed, and I don't get why, unless you deliberately want to be upset. Is that what you want? Is that the goal here? Because I don't fucking get it, dude. I mean, what the fuck, dude? Seriously? Seriously. Don't be fucking petty about this. Just because Matt does things that you don't like doesn't mean you have to make up terminology like a merger when there's clearly no talk of merging whatsoever. Matt is socializing with people who don't share the same opinion as him. Or you. or me, you know? But they're having a civilized discussion. That's why they have these discussions. That's why, like, the Geek Static is in there. The dude reviews mostly new canon. But you probably know this, because you probably watch his material. And Christopher Nelson's in there, who's a big EU guy. So you have a balance. And it's people discussing things. So let me pose... Well, first... I'm sorry, my dude, but... Protocol claims that I need to do this every can rant. So, let's talk about the bottom line here. And I know this is a quiet toilet. It's a low flush toilet and it saves on water, which I like because water is a valuable resource. Let's talk the bottom line here. The bottom line is, quite frankly, you just need to not be so mad at people. Let people have their own opinions. And don't victimize yourself because someone you look up to doesn't agree with you. And for God's sakes, don't fucking harass them. Simple. Have a nice day. And I'm sorry, man. I know you're not gonna like this. But I'm sure you'll comment. Have a nice day, people.